Hey guys, welcome back to Chart Request Live. My name is Patrick Donawilla. I am the editor of the Chart Report. Joining me today, we got Sam Gatlin. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing good, Patrick. How are you?
I'm doing well. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. Really snuck up on us.
So we
Um,
have a half day tomorrow, is that correct?
yeah, half day and then obviously closed on Wednesday for Christmas. What do you think of the market here? It was a weird week last week, right? Persistent weakness up until Friday, and then nice turnaround on Friday. What do you think?
Definitely, yeah. This is exactly what the Bulls wanted to see is that stand on Friday with follow through on Monday. That
Yeah.
is what makes a bottom is follow through.
Yeah, that's a really good
Yeah.
point. And I like that we undercut the prior month's low here. This was a really important level. Still didn't even completely fill that election gap. I'd say that's bullish, if anything. But I do like this little failed breakdown here. And great point about the confirmation today. That's really encouraging. So yeah, looks like Santa's coming to town as of now. We'll see.
Yes, it's time.
Should
Yeah.
we
You
dive
don't want to
right into
see
that
Santa
mailbag?
not show up, I guess,
What's
because
that?
there's the old Yale Hirsch saying. Of if the what is it? If the Bulls don't
Right.
come.
If Santa fails to call, bears may come to Broaden Wall, which of course is the intersection right where the New York Stock Exchange is. Um, and that's a good point because the big takeaway from the Santa Claus rally, a lot of people talk about the Santa Claus rally like it's this just given, like, oh, we're gonna rally, right, in December. But what it really is an indicator for next year, right? So I think the Santa Claus period is the last 5 days of December and the first two of the new year. And if the market's negative over that period, that's a really bad sign for the next year. So that's really the important takeaway here. Too many people treat it like this, given like, oh, the market has to rally. It's if it doesn't during that period, that's a tell. That's a bad tell.
Yeah, that was really well said.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Written about it
Uh,
enough times, right? So
yeah, no, it's really
let's
important
dive right
though.
in. Yeah.
Let's talk about Tractor Supply Company first. That's ticker TSCO. This one came from Nick in the mailbag. Big shout out to Nick. So Tractor Supply Co. is about almost $30 billion specialty retail. I have one of them here at home. It's quite delightful. They have everything you need for um, having a nice farm or anything like that.
Everything you need for your farm goods. So this one broke out early this year, and then it met its target, met its first target here, and that's when you can see things just kind of have been stalling ever since. Kind of messy here, honestly. You might get a retest. Maybe that'd be a good place to add. Um, if you're looking at more short-term tactical, I do like this little shakeout, kind of like the broader market did. It broke down last week when the market was selling off, but here you're trying to fight back here. Um, if you are looking short term, I'd like to see it close above 54 as like confirmation of this failed breakdown here. And then you're looking right back at 58 again. Um, I mean, it really needs to prove that it can clear this 58 level. And then if it can, then you're looking towards this 72 level here. Um, I mean, it really has been consolidating pretty much all year. So if it can reclaim that 58, it looks ready for that 71 level, but just kind of messy in the short term here.
For sure. And you've seen some of the air come out of some of the best retailers in the world, stocks like Walmart. I mean, Walmart has had an incredible run, and this
Yeah,
falls into that same category. So, if Walmart's struggling, yeah, do you really want to bet on Tractor Supply doing good? It's not really what I want to do.
I do like that momentum not getting oversold when it had that failed breakdown or well, when it had the breakdown last week. We'll see if we can confirm it and call it a true failed breakdown, right?
Absolutely. That could be a great tell. Good
Yeah,
point.
and one last point, just kind of further reiterating why this is a messy chart is just this failed move above the target. You can see that it's been pretty damaging. We've tried to repair that and just hadn't been able to. So kind of messy. Would love to see it reclaim that 58.
Don't the best uptrends hit their targets though and exceed them? That's
That's
kind of
true.
the counterpoint.
Excellent, excellent point.
So let's move on to Hansen, wanting to look at GEV. This is GE Vernova. This is the best spinoff of the General Electric conglomerate.
Yeah, sure has been, man. It's like they broke that stock up, and this has been the best one of the pie, as you mentioned.
Right, and it kind of goes along with that theme of AI utilities. You know, you look at Constellation Energy, you have Sam Altman's Oklo, another AI type utility, but it's a trend. It's a real thing, and they seem to be crushing it.
Yeah, and this one just
First
here,
off, tell us how big this flagpole is, because that looks
it's
like
a
a
big
massive one.
flagpole. It's a big flagpole, but that's a really clear bull flag here. Um, with this one, you just want to see it get out of this range. You could even jump it if you want. A lot of the times for these flags, we'll use a VWAP for to get you into the trade early on a breakout, which you can see it's already done that. So if you want to get in this one early, I don't hate this, jumping the gun on it.
They
Before you
mentioned a
get
3-month time frame as well.
Yeah, and if it does, I think the first stop you're looking at this 375-ish level. But it should, as you mentioned, that's a big flagpole leading into it, and you'd expect a big resolution out of it. I mean, that's just a very clean consolidation here. So I think, you definitely maybe want to take some off here, or just be mindful that this level could act as resistance. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing at 500, Sam, next year, even in the first half of next year.
I think the flagpole, if you measured out the points, it would take you to about 550. So
Yeah, okay.
I was
So
doing that
you're
math over
saying,
the weekend. Uh,
oh, okay.
Funny that they brought this one along in the mailbag, but I've had my eye on this
Yeah,
one too. Sweet setup.
yeah, very nice. So yeah, really like this one. As far as the downside goes, below 315 is a problem. You can see, it was this little gap here, but it's acted as support at least twice. So if it does go below 315, I don't think that's likely, but if it does, that's a problem. But so far, looks great.
For sure. And that's all we have in the mailbag today.
Light
So
mailbag.
let's move on to the YouTube chat. The first ticker we have is KC. This is a Chinese software application stock, just over $2 billion. Looks like they are in the business of cloud computing. So think about Snowflake as a peer. The chart looks awfully similar to that. And this one comes from Mr. Zerby in the chat. So shout out to Mr. Zerby for bringing this one along. One
Thank you
looks
indeed.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. This $9-10 level. And with a lot of these newer issues, yeah, a lot of them might have been SPACs too. This one doesn't look like it, but $10 is always an important psychological level. Might sound kind of oversimplistic, but yeah, that's how people enter orders. That's how people think about their positions. And anyway, it's clearly proven to be a hurdle for this one. So if it can get above 10, then you're looking at 17. Nice move if it can decisively reclaim 10.
For sure. And I love how it's staying high and tight here as it runs into that big resistance zone, refusing to break
exactly.
down.
Yeah. Putting it in a daily here, look at, very high and tight. Really just looks like it really wants it. And I like that target coincides with the IPO lows too. Right over here.
Probably some bag holders there.
Conviction to that. Yeah. And with a lot of these charts, typically the way we think about it is if a decline can retrace at least 61.8% of its decline, then it typically goes on to 100%. So if it reaches this 17, $18 level, I'd expect a little consolidation here at least. And then you're looking, but that'd be a really good kind of milestone for it, or kind of big step for it would be reclaiming that.
For sure. Thanks for bringing that one along, Mr. Zerby.
Yeah, I mean,
this is probably the chart of the day,
right? Yeah, it's got a little RSI divergence here, but momentum's still in a very bullish range. So I don't think you want to put too much. I don't think you need to get too concerned about the RSI divergence.
Yeah. Do you want to look at this one benchmarked to its peers? Like,
sure.
I think KWeb would be the best peer group comparison, and I imagine this one looks pretty damn good relative to the peers.
Yeah. I mean, and this chart's just similar kind of playbook here with the relative trend, but to your point, does look like it's holding up well relative to its peer group. So with this one, yeah, it looks even better on a relative basis.
It does.
In fact. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to ticker Real. This is the Real luxury.
Yeah. Spencer and I were talking about this one. So, I mean, incredible move these last few weeks here.
And I think it's important to note that this one has 19.5% short interest and 8 days to cover. So this is a short squeeze in my books.
Yeah, that's great. And what did we just say about when stocks reclaim at least 63 or 62% of their decline? Typically make it all the way back to the all-time highs. So you're looking at 30 here. 30 is where this thing looks like it wants to head. And man, that short interest. And that's really important, Sam, because I think a lot of these like crappier stocks that have been beaten up, that are making comebacks these last couple months, the short interest has been kind of like a separating factor kind of between those, because you have something like Peloton had a nice move, and that was a heavily shorted one, but then Zoom, where a lot of the short interest has been kind of extinguished. Maybe Zoom's a bad example, but the short interest is a really important component of that. Real.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. Like Carvana, it was fueled by short interest. This massive move in Carvana. I think that is what you're trying to say, but now it has run out of short sellers. I think the bigger point is the short sellers tend to get greedy and hold on to their positions much longer than they should. And
they overstay.
Primary trend reversals are what forces them out.
Right. They get complacent. And then the stock starts working against them. And in the short term, I'd want to see this thing reclaim 10. Like this week would be nice. Once it gets above 10, I mean, this thing could easily go to 30. I mean, it's pretty quick too. But it's already had a really nice move. You could also consolidate around here for a few months or weeks. But either way, your levels are very clear. $8. 10 is another important short-term level, 30 to the upside.
For sure. Do you know about the Real? I'm just reading their description, and
I want to say JC's sister used to work there. Don't call me on that.
Yes.
But I think it's a used handbag company. I could be wrong.
It's more like an eBay for all the luxury goods, like Gucci and the Louis Vuitton type products. I see. Sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that one along, Ralph. That's a great looking chart, no doubt about it. Let's move on to ticker NNE. This
Nuclear Energy, man, what a name.
Yeah. So it's almost $1 billion stock now.
Who brought this?
Looks like Eva in the chat brought this one along.
Nice. Interesting. So had this little failed breakout day. I thought it was around earnings, but it was before earnings. But it looks like it's trying to repair it. Here it is. I'd say that level's 30. So if it can reclaim 30, let's fib it out here. 56, even 57.
That sounds like a
Um,
good trade right there.
yeah, and you know I love my ascending triangles here, and this one's showing that pattern. So in a ascending triangle, you got a horizontal resistance, which in this case it's 30, and then you got uptrend line leading into that resistance. Um, I think this thing's just building up energy for its breakout. So really like this one.
Yeah, me too. I think it's important to note that this one is like a peer to Oklo and SMR.
Oh,
There
so it's an
are
AI, it's an AI energy play.
right, yeah, it's along those same lines. So, um,
I just put an alert there at 30 just
yeah,
to keep it on the radar.
yeah, I like that. Um, yeah, great looking chart. You ready to move
And,
on?
is
Anything else to
this,
say about it?
oh, so it came public in May. Wow.
Yeah. I love that aspect of it too, is that there's no bag holders in this one.
Well, Sam, you're more up to date with the whole nuclear trend. How does this fit into that puzzle?
This is the first time I'm seeing this one,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest with you, so I haven't done any research on it, but just by reading the description, I can, uh,
Well, where are we at with energy or with nuclear? Uh-oh.
yeah, it seems it's not going away anytime soon.
Oof. Oh,
Like
uranium.
Camco still can't get the job done, so that is kind of on hold for now. But the utilities, the like so SMR and Oklo and NNE, these are more utility type uranium plays. But then you have Camco, which is like the Exxon Mobil of uranium. So
I
there's
see.
different plays, and the
Yeah.
utility play seems to be crushing it relative to the exploration and production side of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, and this is that Oklo that you keep mentioning. Kind of behaving similar. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Um, I really like that this one's holding those post IPO highs here, flipped it into support. And this one, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it a flag, but it's certainly a
It's
consolidation
yeah.
here,
Just a
right?
messy consolidation. And then look at the RSI in the bottom there. Not, it's refusing to get below that midway point. That is
Yeah,
exactly what you see during continuation patterns. So this
right,
one just
right.
it screams higher to me.
That's what you want to see on a consolidation is it holding um, momentum holding up well, and it is.
Absolutely. Thanks for showing that one.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Tesla.
Ooh.
This one comes from our Filipino Indian Life. Cool. Shout out.
Yeah, I was wondering when we were going to get asked about this one.
Yeah. So
So
this is currently at $1.3 trillion. And
amazing. You think it's going to five?
yeah, higher.
Um,
And
so this
we
one
had
broke
some
out.
news about Honda and Nissan merging two Japanese auto manufacturers. So I think that is noteworthy, as that
Interesting.
the industry is really struggling and Tesla's kicking ass and taking names. The chart suggests
Um,
that too. Multi-year
yeah,
base breakout. I love it. I'm all about that.
yeah. I mean, this one, the playbook's just so straightforward here. Broke out 2 weeks ago. The playbook is if it's above 400, it's gone to 600, um, and probably beyond, honestly. But 3 year base and largest drawdown in history of Tesla. Just to make that point, look at this drawdown here. I mean, it's really coming out of the longest and deepest drawdown. You had it check back to the breakout level recently, just these last few days. You can see it looks like one. Of course, the day is not over, but it is acting as support. So
It looks kind of
again,
bull
it's
flaggy to
above
me.
400. It does, yeah, yeah. Um, and I like that kind of, if it was going to retest, you want to see it kind of react quickly like that, and so far it is. Um, so with this one, all is good above 400, 600 is next. I'm not sure what else to say about it because it's
No, I think that's a great point. Just that you don't want to see it dance around this breakout level too long. You want to see it flip it into support. This one has been
right.
proven to be resistance, so if it fails here, that would be nasty. This would be a failed breakout. So you really want the bulls to step up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
You had
that is a possibility. This could be a failed breakout. So if this does get below 400, don't touch it. Just don't
right.
even look at it.
And Stephen
Um,
Weitzel was on the morning show today, and I think he made a really great point about this one. I think they were asking him about window dressing into the end of the year, and I think this one is a prime candidate for that. People with a lot of money have underrated this one. They've held a
oh yeah,
lot
you
less
remember
than the
Tesla was
benchmark.
the dog earlier in the first half of the year for the Mag 7. It was almost
Right.
like we were talking about the Mag 7, like we had to awkwardly mention Tesla too because it was just lagging behind the rest of them. So
But I think that's the beautiful thing about it is it's a catch-up trade, and once you get that ball rolling of these financial advisors and these institutions, they need to own more Tesla, and they don't give a shit what price they pay for it. They just need it in their portfolios, and I
right.
think that's frankly the story here.
Yeah, as far as the mega caps go, I'd say this is probably one of the favorite mega caps, or probably the best looking mega cap for next year, or at least into next year.
Love it. Let's move on to RBRK. One comes from H Chan in the chat.
Rubrik.
Yes. So this is a $12.25 billion software infrastructure stock.
Okay.
Looks like cloud data management
Yeah.
from Palo Alto.
Ooh. So
This
with
one
this
looks a
one,
lot better than like Snowflake or Box or those competitors.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Hit that first Fibonacci extension after it exploded out of this IPO base. Looks like it went public in May or April. Broke out in October, kind of stalled for a few weeks or for a few days. I'm sorry, this is a daily chart. So kind of stalled at that 50 level, kind of bull flagged. And then you got the explosion higher, hit second target here. And it's just kind of struggling with that right now. If it decisively reclaims this $70 level, then we're looking way higher at 122. That's
Wow.
quite a move for this thing. But it could
Love
do
it.
it.
It looks
Is there
great.
short interest around this name? I'm not familiar with this at all.
I doubt it. Looks like 5% one day to cover. So
Oh wow,
not much.
not much. But
No,
yeah, this one really,
it's a great chart.
yeah. Now, I mean, it's possible that this is going to be a bigger issue. Like, it could chop around here for months, but above 70, you got to err on the upside.
And then what about dropping the WAP from that earnings gap? I
Yeah,
think that is an incredibly important moment in time.
yeah,
So we're below that. So sellers are in control of the short-term trend. I think you have to assume this one's on its way to retest that gap. Maybe that
yeah.
is a potential entry level there.
Right on a breakout, you're saying?
No, like I think the sellers, I think you want to give the benefit of the doubt to them that they're in control. The price is below this anchored VWAP. Um, is price
Yeah.
gonna retest this gap from the earnings about a week ago?
Oh, that's what
Weeks
you're
ago?
saying.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. And whether or not it does, if it breaks this post gap low here around 62-ish, that would be an indication that this thing's going to retest. But in the short term, as long as it's above there, I think it's just kind of in this consolidation zone, you know? Um, if anything, I just want to see it above 70.
For sure. Thanks for bringing that one along, H-Chan. I had not seen that chart. So really appreciate finding new great charts around here. You guys make that happen in the
Oh, yeah.
chat and the mailbag. Let's finish off with United Healthcare. We have
Okay.
a massive Dow component, about $500 billion in market cap. It resolved a multi-year range earlier this year and has been rejected pretty hard in recent weeks. So I think the bulls are trying to make a stand here and not let this one turn into a confirmed false breakout. I think that would be confirmed with a close below that 2024 low. That's how I would read it.
Yeah. Really, really nasty. It did have a really nice breakout earlier this year, or in the middle of the year, around the summer. And then, as Sam said, just brutal these last few weeks. It's really, there's really nothing to do about it when it's in this range, for me at least. I need to see it above 550 to get bullish on it. And yeah, this is just in this really messy, I can't think of a more frustrating trade than just being in the middle of that range. I think at this point it could go down to retest the lower bounds of this range at 450. After this whole mess and just the downside momentum it has, I wouldn't be surprised. I think you almost have to anticipate that a retest of this 450. But looks like it is finding support in the middle of the range. Maybe it goes back, retests resistance, and whether or not it breaks through there, we'll see. But it's really hard for me to want to do anything with this stock if it's just in the middle of this range right now.
For sure. I think it's very important though. From
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like it's one of the largest Dow components,
Yeah.
$500 billion in market cap. You don't want to see it completely rolling over and going to zero,
Right.
That's not
Right.
bullish for the broader market.
No, it would not. No. And as you mentioned, largest Dow component going to zero, that would be quite bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that's likely, but no, it is a very important stock to the Dow and the broader market.
For sure. Well, let's wrap it up here. Sorry, everyone who I missed their ticker. We will be sure to get it next time. Don't think we'll be here on Thursday, given the holiday week. I presume next Monday we'll be back.
Yep. So Sam, what was your favorite chart?
Probably the real. That
Okay.
one is,
You like that short interest.
yeah.
What was it, 18% in like 6 days to cover or something?
It's pretty extreme. Let me pull it up one more time. Make sure I don't misstate any of the numbers. It's about 20% short interest and 6 days to cover.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the NNE. I like that one. That's interesting.
You said
It
you
needs a
put
little more time, but
you
that's-
added an alert to your system.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That and also the GEV, man,
Yep.
that thing looks tight.
Yeah, this is what we started with, is an
Yeah.
AI utility.
Yeah, this one, interesting one for sure. Anyway,
Love it.
let's leave it here for today. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching this year. You guys have been awesome. Once again, Patrick Dunawilla, Sam, if we missed your tickers today, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com and we will get to them on our next episode. Thank you guys.
Thank you.